Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you've ever looked at your bank account and felt like your hard-earned cash is just quietly vanishing every month, well, you're definitely in the right place. Today, we're totally decoding what is arguably the most dangerous financial trap in America right now, the modern car payment. We're going to dig into the data and see exactly how the auto industry has completely reshaped our financial reality, honestly, without most of us even realizing it.
So here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll start with the modern car payment trap, then look at the three forces driving longer loans, the absolute danger of underwater loans, the true cost of car ownership, and finally, we'll wrap up with 5 super actionable strategies to help you escape debt. Trust me, sticking through the math is going to be worth it. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the modern car payment trap. Specifically, looking at how 1963 compares to 2026.
Picture this. Back in 1963, if you took out a car loan, a short-term commitment was just the overwhelming norm. Nearly 70% of all car loans were under 36 months. Less than 1% went over that 3-year mark. But fast forward to today, and wow, the landscape is entirely unrecognizable. The average new car loan term has exploded to 69 months. That's almost 6 years. Even wilder, over 22%, so more than 1 in 5 buyers, are stretching their loans out to 84, 96, or literally 108 months. I mean, that's a car loan that might actually outlast some marriages. As a society, we are falling incredibly hard for long-term loans on assets that rapidly lose their value.
Section 2. 3 forces driving longer loans. Let's look at exactly why these terms just exploded.
Force number 1 is just the harsh reality of wage stagnation hitting car price inflation head-on. Back in '63, an average new car cost about $3,200 against a median household income of $6,200. So a new car ate up roughly 52% of an annual salary. Today, the average new car has hit a whopping $50,000, while the median income is around $84,000. Now, that car is eating up 60% of an annual salary. If we just adjusted that 1963 car for inflation, it should really only cost $32,000 today. Now sure, modern cars are safer, they have way more tech, but the reality is we didn't get 56% richer to match that 56% premium in car prices. So, how does the industry sell a $50,000 car to someone who fundamentally can't afford it? Simple. They just stretch the loan out to 6, 7, or 8 years. Now, what's really interesting here is force number 2. Banks actively pushing longer terms because, quite frankly, it makes them a ton of money. Let's compare a $40,000 loan at a 6% interest rate. Finance it over 36 months, and yeah, your payment is steep at $1,217 a month, but your total interest is only $3,800. If you stretch that exact same loan to 72 months, your monthly payment magically drops to a much more comfortable $773. But wait, look at the total interest. It skyrockets to almost $6,400. By convincing you to take the longer term, the bank quietly extracts an extra $2,599 right out of your pocket. Multiply that by millions of car buyers, and you can see exactly why lenders love this new normal.
And that brings us to force number 3, dealer incentives. Dealerships are heavily incentivized to sell you a pricier car by manipulating the loan length to fit this sort of monthly payment illusion. If you walk in and say, hey, I have a strict budget of $500 a month, the dealer has options. They can sell you a $30,000 car on a 60-month loan, or they can show you a $35,000 car on a 72-month loan, or, you guessed it, put you in a $40,000 car on an 84-month loan. To you, the budget feels totally identical. It's still $500, but to the dealer making a commission, they just upsold you a significantly more expensive vehicle.
Because of all these misaligned incentives, the auto industry has drastically moved the goalposts on what we even consider a normal payment anymore. To show you just how distorted this has become, check out this real anecdote from a viral dealership TikTok video. When salesmen were asked about the highest payments they've seen, they casually tossed out numbers like $1,200 a month for a Suburban. And get this, a maximum of $3,700 a month. No way, right? The whole baseline of affordability has just been completely warped. Let's move into Section 3, the danger of underwater loans. We're calling this the pandemic markup hangover.
14 grand. That single number represents a massive financial headache for so many right now. Consider the very real story of a buyer who picked up a Tesla Model Y during the pandemic for $72,000. By 2024, they'd been paying it down for 2 years, but still owed $52,000 on the loan. The issue? Because of depreciation and massive price cuts, the car was actually only worth $38,000 on the open market. That means this buyer is totally trapped. They are underwater on their loan to the tune of $14,000.
So, what does this all mean? Why are so many people suddenly going completely underwater on these car loans? Is it just terrible luck?
Actually, no. And this brilliantly illustrates why. It's the direct relationship between depreciation and your loan balance. Say you buy a $30,000 car on a short 36-month loan. After 1 year, you've aggressively paid that principal down to about $20,000. The car dropped in value to $24,000, but hey, you're safe. You have positive equity. But let's look at the 72-month loan. Because your payments are stretched so thin, after 1 year, you still owe $26,000, but the car is still only worth $24,000. Boom, you are instantly $2,000 in the negative. Cars just naturally depreciate faster than a 72-month loan gets paid down.
All right, Section 4, the true cost of car ownership. Time to start looking way beyond just that monthly payment.
Let's run a realistic scenario so we can calculate true costs. We'll use a very sensible standard $32,000 Toyota Camry. If you follow best practices, you put 20% down, which is $7,000, and finance the rest over 36 months at 6.5%, your loan payment is $767 a month. But obviously, that's not what the car actually costs you. When you factor in gas, insurance, and routine maintenance, that adds roughly another $433 a month. So suddenly, your highly sensible Camry actually commands a total monthly footprint of $1,200. This totally debunks the myth that a $1,200 budget means you get to drive off in a luxury German sports car. In the real world, a $1,200 budget safely affords you a Toyota Camry.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is this staggering figure, $43,812. Over 6 years, you are going to pay a total of $61,812 in payments, insurance, gas, and maintenance for that Camry. At the end of those 6 years, the car is worth about $18,000. When you subtract that residual value from everything you spent, your true, gone forever cost of ownership for those 6 years was nearly $44,000. You know, you might be wondering why we used a 36-month loan in that Camry example instead of the normal 72-month one. Well, because surviving the tight squeeze of a 36-month loan gives you years 4, 5, and 6 with 0 car payments. Literally 3 years of financial freedom. That's $767 a month you were sending to the bank. That now goes directly into your pocket. If you took that exact monthly amount and invested it at a standard 7 to 8% return, you'd generate over $30,000 in investment potential over those 3 years. That right there is the massive opportunity cost of a long-term loan.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 5. 5 strategies to escape debt. Basically, how to buy smart in 2026.
Strategy number 1, start thinking in total cost, not just monthly payments. When you walk into a dealership, use this simple trick. Step 1, take your comfortable monthly budget. Let's say it's $500 and multiply it by a maximum of 36 months. That gives you $18,000. Step 2, subtract whatever down payment you have. If you have $3,000, that leaves $15,000. Step 3, that right there is your conservative target price. With a $500 budget and $3,000 down, you are safely looking at a $15,000 to $21,000 car. This simple framework literally stops you from overextending yourself.
Strategy number 2 is to target vehicles that are specifically known for low maintenance and insurance costs. Remember, the sticker price is just the starting line. Use online tools like Edmunds to check the true cost to own over 5 years before you ever set foot on a car lot. And definitely be proactive about comparing auto insurance rates. Do not let high running costs completely blindside your carefully planned budget. Strategy number 3 is a real game changer. Rigorously applying the 24-10 rule. This is basically the gold standard for financial safety. It means you put 20% down, finance the car for absolutely no more than 4 years, that's 48 months, and you keep your total transportation costs under 10% of your gross monthly income. For context, if you make the median $84,000 salary, this rule dictates your total vehicle cost should strictly remain under $700 a month. Moving on to strategy number 4. Buy in the used car sweet spot. Generally, this means looking at vehicles that are 2 to 3 years old. Let's think back to our $32,000 new Camry. After 3 years, that exact same car drops to roughly $24,000. That is an $8,000 depreciation drop. By buying a 3-year-old certified pre-owned car, you are letting someone else pay that massive $8,000 depreciation penalty for you, and you still get a car that essentially feels brand new.
Finally, strategy number 5. This is a lifeline for those of you who might currently feel trapped in a long 72 or 84-month loan. First, check your contract and just start making extra principal payments. Even an extra $100 or $200 a month can shave actual years off your loan. Second, promise yourself you'll drive that car for 3 to 4 years after the loan is paid off so you actually get to enjoy payment-free living. Third, if your credit has gone up, look into refinancing down to a 36-month loan to crush that principal faster. But whatever you do, please, the absolute worst mistake you can make is trading that car in and rolling your negative equity into a brand new long-term loan. Just don't do it.
Well, we've definitely covered a lot of ground today, but I want to leave you with the stark reality of 2026. The average American literally never stops having a car payment. They just trade one long loan for another, endlessly bleeding wealth to interest and depreciation. Just contrast that with the 1963 mindset. Cars were paid off in 3 years and driven payment-free for years after. Holding yourself to a 3 or 4 year loan is, without a doubt, the ultimate financial advantage right now.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Will you let the auto industry condition you into accepting an endless cycle of 6, 7, and 8 year payments? Or will you apply these strategies today and take the fast track to real financial freedom? The math is completely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.